Morning. Boy, what a morning that I've already had. It's already not even 9 o'clock yet. It's 8:55, and I'm gonna grab my coffee here. Okay, this is a snapshot of what it's like to be a targeted individual. I already had to call the police and have them come out. Normally, I would not even call the police because they usually don't listen to what targets have to say. But since I moved here to this trailer back in September, I've already had a break in, a theft, multiple instances where I've had knocking on my trailer. And I've been harassed for having an emotional support animal. I've been harassed for using my mailbox key at the mailbox. And neighbors calling me crazy, people coming up to me saying that I am a squatter, which I am not. I'm a legal renter. And this morning, I had knocking or rocks thrown at the trailer at 3 different times. So the third time, I finally got out of bed, ran to the window, looked through the blinds, and the same man who was calling me crazy yesterday was right there over by the garbage dumpster. And when I had the police come over and explain the situation to them, they talked to both neighbors involved. And I asked them to ask the vice president to turn the cameras on because we do have surveillance cameras on property. In fact, it's aimed right at my trailer, but the vice president chooses to keep them off because he knows I'm being harassed and he doesn't want me to have proof. So today, I had the policeman go over and ask him to turn them on because there is some issues going on there. So, scripture says to not even sue anyone, but it doesn't mean you can't call the police, especially when you're being harassed on a daily basis. And interestingly enough, the man that I said was over by the dumpster, and I saw him right out my window right after I heard a big bang on the trailer. Um, he said, "Oh, I wasn't out there throwing rocks. I never even mentioned rocks." And so clearly he had thrown a rock. And the police knew it. It was like, ridiculous. And these people are not the HOA president. They're not the HOA vice president. They're just residents here getting into my business and, just saying nasty things. But they were told today to leave me alone and to not police the park, that they were not the police. And, I just walk my dog, occasionally get the mail, and now I go to work. I have a job now. I've been training for the last 5 days, and I go again tonight. And so that's a win for me. Is I got a job, and I'm going to be earning money. And so many people have tried to push me toward getting disability, and by getting disability, I would have to admit to some kind of mental diagnosis, which I refuse to do because it's not true. I don't have a mental diagnosis, and I have post-traumatic stress disorder, um, which is true, and that's from the gang stalking. But it could also be many people can probably relate, people who are targeted individuals, that once you notice and figure out what gang stalking is and what targeting is, you start to kind of like look back at things and say, okay, well, this probably didn't just start overnight. This is what I'm noticing now, but what about, this time and that year and, this whole period of time. And then if you go back even further, probably before all this technology was involved and the organized gang stalking was really at its height like it is now, it was probably more along the lines of demonic uh, interference in our life from the enemy. But just know that, this is a very difficult path to be on. And I don't mean to be complaining. The reason why I do these videos, number one, like if you go back to my about page on, on this YouTube page, you'll see that this is number one, harvest for Jesus. Two, this is all about end times and my testimony around Christ and how the Lord has saved me. But it's also a testimony of being a targeted individual and gang stalking, so that I can inform people and share things on my community page that are pertinent. Because when someone is on this journey, it can be very confusing and frustrating, and just there's a lot of odd things that start to happen. And when you realize that the same odd things are happening to other people, you start to see that it's more of a system. It's a program that they've they've done out there. Um, Even to the point where if you go on my community page, or if you just go to targetedjustice.com and you look at one of their tabs, they actually have a manual on what they do to harass targets. And I would say that most of the things that are in there has been done to me, and I have noticed. So I've seen the manual on there before. The last time I looked for it, I couldn't find it, and I was looking kind of quickly, so I don't know if I just didn't see it, but they may have actually taken it down. I will have to go back and look again. But this is just a quick video. We don't have long. In fact, last night, in the middle of the night, my dog was walking around, and I opened my eyes and realized that, oh, all the lights have gone out, because I leave a light on in the living room in case there's a break-in. And all the lights were off. And when I looked outside of the trailer, all the lights were off in the community, and they were off for quite a while, at least an hour. And I finally fell back to sleep. They're back on again, as you can tell, but we have had a power outage, and I was kind of even wondering if it was going to be like, maybe had an EMP had started. I don't know. I was like not sure what was going on there. It's been a weird morning. It's been very weird, but life as a target. So pray for me, and I continue to pray for you guys, and just know that we have to celebrate our wins. The win this week was that I got a job. I'm kind of trying to tackle one thing at a time. That's usually my strategy, to just really focus on attaining a goal and getting that well in grasp, and then working on the next thing. So the next thing I'm going to be looking into is a new place to live, because this is getting a little ridiculous. I did have my friend with the dream, the video where it's the lady with the white comforter saying that I was going to be transformed while I was still here. So I'm just kind of taking it day by day. And that is something that we all have to do. We all have to take it day by day, sometimes hour by hour. And there are moments that are like that with me. And I'm constantly in prayer with the Lord. I'm constantly reading my Bible, and trying to find videos that are uplifting. And sometimes as a target, like, people really don't understand. There's a lot of people getting demonic attacks, dream attacks, witchcraft, but targeting is a whole nother thing that I think most people don't understand. You just don't get it when it feels like every single person in your life is against you. And I know that sounds a little like paranoid, but that's what they want it to sound like. And it's like when you enter into a new place, like I'm in this new place where I work, and it's like, okay, normalcy again. People are nice, people are just kind, and no one's acting weird. And it's just like I love, I actually got a job waitressing, and I love waitressing because you have to be so busy that there's no time to think about any of the nonsense. And that's kind of therapeutic for me in a way. It's good for your brain. It keeps you active. It keeps you on your feet, and it's a very fast-paced kind of thing. And sometimes it's a healthy thing to do. For me personally. So, what can I say? Stand up for your rights. Call the police if needed, but only if you really have like proof, multiple different things of what's going on. Today, my neighbors who were harassing me basically incriminated themselves in front of the police by all the things that they were saying. And I knew that they would do that because they just blatantly just said horrible things about me multiple times in front of crowds of people. So they weren't afraid to say anything. So I knew that that would happen. And so, I am just going to take it one day at a time. So God bless and be well.